Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Football United TV. Yes, me and Marlie are back. We're talking about the transfers recently in the news, what's going on, the rumours, the topics, who's going where, and it's going to be a nice, interesting, quick chat. So before we get into it, we both know, and you know what's coming. It's the intro. Yes, everybody, welcome back to Football United TV. This is the Transfer Zone. I'm here with Marlie, and what a glorious day it is in the UK. Wherever you are in the world, I hope you're having a fabulous time right now. It is summertime where I am. Marlie, is it winter time where you are?
It is, but today actually, we have a good sunny day. Like it's not too cold, not too hot. Yeah, it's a good temperature, comfortable, pleasing. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's very hot here, mate. For English people as well, very hot indeed.
Yeah.
We are at, I think, 798 subscribers right now. We're almost at the 800 mark. So if you can, please,
Please.
please subscribe, get us over that mark, and then we can reach for 900 and then move on to 1K. Thank you so much, everybody, for supporting us and all the channels as well that we deal with. People know who I'm talking about in all the groups on WhatsApp and everything like that. Brilliant. Thank you so much, everybody, for helping us. And we also really enjoy helping you out too. And I guess we should maybe shout out Charlie Hibbert here. Big up, lads. Big up, Charlie. Thank you for tuning in, mate.
Big up,
He'll be
bro.
doing the Europa League and the Europa Conference League review in the next 3 or 4 weeks. We're coming back onto our normal routine, so please stay tuned. But for today, mate, we are talking about you know who. The biggest news out there at the moment is Ronaldo. Cristiano Ronaldo has said to Man United he wants to leave. Man United have come out this morning and said that it's going to be very hard to keep Ronaldo there. They might have to let him go somewhere else onto bigger and better pastures. So, Marley, is it going to be Chelsea, mate? Or do you think he's going to go somewhere else, mate? Because what I'm hearing is Chelsea are putting in a bid of 14 million for Ronaldo and giving him decent wages, maybe even more than what he's on at Man United. Is that a good move for him to go to another Premier League club, mate? Or should he maybe look somewhere else like the Bundesliga? Because I know Bayern Munich are looking at him as well, and he hasn't been there yet.
Yeah.
And I know Luther Matthäus come out recently in the last couple of days and said you'd never turn down such a player like Ronaldo. So
Yeah.
where's he going to go, Marley? What are we saying?
I feel like Bayern and PSG make more sense just because of the career that Ronaldo had, right? He seems to like that kind of be victorious in whatever country he goes to. It it seems a little bit out of character for me to. I know that Chelsea and United are not necessarily rivals, but still two big clubs at the same competition, so they are kind of rivals. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. It could end up happening, Ronaldo is a weird one because he's an ancient player. He's very old, but he's still Ronaldo, and he still does have very impressive numbers. So where do you value him at? Some people were talking about 30 mil. That makes some sense. 14, 14 is definitely low. Then again, they know that they're not going to sell him for anything, because he's going to be close to 40 when he leaves his next club. So, or maybe even 40. So I don't know. Ronaldo's such a weird one. Like he's a weird player to move like nowadays. Like when Juventus paid 100 mil for him, like that was crazy in my eyes. And how did it happen with United? Was it a free transfer? Like how, I don't remember. I forget.
Good shout, actually. I think it was a free transfer. I don't think we bought him, but I think we give him the wages that he wanted as well.
Yeah,
I think that's the problem as well at this moment in time is he is going to be looking for a Champions League team, isn't he?
yeah,
He
definitely.
wants to win Ballon d'Ors. He can see Messi, who's like maybe a year or two underneath him in age, and the fact that Messi could still probably win another Ballon d'Or if he really wanted to. So I see it's competition for him to try and get in somewhere where he's still playing Tuesday or Wednesday night football. He does not want to play Thursday night football for a Man United team that hasn't even bought really anybody to
Yeah.
start off this Ten Hag rebuild.
Mhm.
Um, I wouldn't like to see him go Chelsea, mate. I'm not sure why Chelsea are going in for him.
Ronaldo.
Yeah, no, I know, but going to another Premier League team, Man United could stop that, couldn't they? That's the thing. I think they could say no offers from Premier League clubs, only outside. And you know what, Marley? I thought maybe a good idea for Ronaldo would be going to Sporting Lisbon again.
Might be a little too soon. Like he's still very competitive. He's not. He's definitely not going to compete in the
Aren't they?
Champions League with the Portuguese team. What?
Yeah. Well, I know, but he's still going to be in it, and he's never won anything with Sporting Lisbon. And you know that if he's going to be in the team with Sporting Lisbon against Benfica and Porto, there's a very good chance that they could win the league. They did win the league last year, right?
No, no, no. It was Porto.
Oh, but the year before. Sorry, beg your pardon. It
Was
definitely
it
was.
Sporting?
Yes.
Was it not Benfica?
No.
No. Okay.
No. I know they won it at least the season before. So
Yeah.
they're still able to dominate in the Portuguese league, mate. So I just
No.
wonder
Yeah. He'd
whether
be
that would.
competitive. I
Well,
just
yeah,
feel like that sounds like the next move. Like you go somewhere big, like
but would they
like
take a
huge.
40-year-old Ronaldo on that Sporting?
Yes, yes, they would. Yes,
They
they
would.
would. They take
Just
a 50-year-old Ronaldo at Sporting, mate. Like
a fifth year old,
it. I'm exaggerating, but dude, he doesn't look like. What is he? 37 or 38?
nearly 38.
Yeah, okay. Like he doesn't look that way. He doesn't move like he's that age. Of course, like if you look at Ronaldo when he was 30, when he was 29, yeah, like he doesn't look the same. Of course. When you compare him to other players at that age, dude, like no, he's like a 32-year-old. Like I don't see why they wouldn't take him at 40. If they don't, he's gonna go to the MLS. He's gonna have a great time in there.
Well, look, Solo, big up Solo as well for the main night agenda. They're on at 8:30 tonight. Please go check them out. Um, Anyone out there would take Cristiano Ronaldo. That's what Luther Matthäus said at Bayern Munich, and I do agree with that. But
Dude,
like, I think
Barcelona is showing interest.
they
That's
are.
there you go.
But what I'm saying is he does want to go to the MLS as well. He does want to finish off there. Apparently, that is the case that he wants. Would be going to Sporting Lisbon at 40 after this year or so be too late for him to go to the MLS? Or do you think that he can go to the MLS when he's 41, 42?
Well, first of all, come to think of it, not gonna get into it, but I'm not sure he can go to the MLS actually. But
Why? Why? Why can't you get into that?
because I think like he's got legal problems in the U.S., like serious ones, and
Um,
alleged.
yeah,
I don't want to get into it. So
but I
I don't
don't
know.
think.
He could very well retire at Sporting. But anyway, we're talking about the now. I think Bayern's a like that's they can afford him. He's not going to cost too much. I know he's going to be an expensive player to keep, but he's not going to be too expensive to acquire right now. And if they're to lose Lewandowski, like the best goal scorer in the world, Ronaldo's a good replacement. Can't get much better than that. They replace Gnabry and Lewandowski with Ronaldo and Mane. Dude, they didn't lose anything there. It's a very good duo to bring in.
But I think he'll go to the MLS at some point. I know Solo's saying he won't get to the MLS where is a legit rumours. But I think he will, because if he's offered that franchise like Beckham was as well, I mean, they definitely would offer him that to him, right?
I don't know. I don't know. I know he's a very popular figure, but then again, with the problems he has in the U.S., it might be somewhat of a PR nightmare for him to for them to treat him as they treated David Beckham back in the day.
But he's doing all right. He's got his own club.
What do you mean?
Well, Inter Miami is Beckham's club. That's the franchise that he was given.
I know. I'm saying it's a PR nightmare for the league to do the same with Ronaldo in
How's
the
it a
U.S.
nightmare though? I don't understand. Like, that could only bring more people towards the MLS, can't it? No matter whether he's 45, 50,
But
he's
I'm
a
not
big
talking
name.
about not talking about football reasons, mate. Like because of the
It's not football
like
reasons. I know that.
yeah, because of the very heavy rumors and because of the complications he could end up facing in the future, or because of the subject being brought back up, it's somewhat sketchy for them to try to do the same thing they did with Beckham.
Well, Brush says, big up Brush as well. Oliver Kahn has ruled out Bayern moving for CR7. Doesn't fit in their plans nor wage structure. I kind of agree with that.
Yeah.
Bayern Munich isn't the sort of club that can pay the wages of someone who's
Mhm.
on, say, 400 to 500,000 a week, unless he takes a wage cap. Now, I know Lingard as well has had trouble in the last couple of days with going to West Ham. I think he wanted 150,000 a week, and now he's looking to go to the MLS as well because they will pay it for him. But mate, I'd like to see him
That's
go to Bayern Munich.
that's where the Chelsea rumors start to gain some weight, right? Like gain some consistency, because you look at it he's I don't feel like PSG is actually going to try to get Ronaldo, even though it's the team that makes the most sense. They just renewed with Mbappe. They seem to be moving towards this Mbappe centered team where he's the superstar. There's even chances of Neymar leaving. We're going to talk about that too. I don't think Messi's going to stay there for a long time. So bringing Ronaldo doesn't make a whole lot of sense when you're talking about a Mbappe as a star. And that leaves us with Italian clubs can't afford. I don't think he wants to go back to Italy anyway. So that leaves us with Barcelona and Chelsea. Like Chelsea's not truly a rival of Man United's. Barcelona is definitely a rival of Real Madrid's. So it starts to make a bit more sense. The thing with Chelsea is, I feel like even though they did win the Champions League quite recently, they are a step below from the world's greatest clubs, right? Like they're not at the same level as City, Bayern, Liverpool, even PSG, Real Madrid. You could argue as well. So it's I don't know. Financially, it makes sense. He's going to be in the competitions. I just don't know how competitive he's going to be.
No, nor do I. Luca AFC, big up to you, Luca. Big up Maisie from Devils United. She will be on this Sunday. We have been trying to sort this out for the last few weeks. I had a stag do, never made it home on Sunday until very late. And literally this Sunday, I think it's going to happen. So big up Devils United. Big up Maisie. Solo's there as well. Big up my fellow DJs. Anyone out there would take Cristiano Ronaldo. We did say that. He won't get the MLS, where is the legit rumors. Brush says, big up, guys. Big up, Brush. Solo says the same. Brush says, the deal for Beckham was unprecedented. 250 million plus the future franchise promise. But I don't think that they could do that for Ronaldo. Because, I mean, I know you're saying he's got some potential problems with court cases in America, but I'm pretty sure that is falling flat in the last few years. Solo Big up to Solo. Big up Bill Baggio, the Man United agenda. Happy Thursday, people. Yes, happy Thursday. What a glorious day it is. Yo, Solo and Brush, he says. And he says, big up Bill. So, what do you think is going to happen to him then? Like, do you think it will be Barcelona then? Do you think they're the team that will be able to take him on? How will it make Real Madrid fans feel? I know they don't really give too much of a crap about Ronaldo, do they really, to be fair, to be honest? Because when I've met a lot of people out there, he's not the same as it is when you hear from Man United fans about how big Ronaldo is for Man United. Could he go back to Real Madrid? Would they put in an offer randomly? I mean, it's only about 14 or 15 million, I think people were saying.
It doesn't make sense with what they're doing. And
No,
I'm not gonna lie, Benzema, like Ronaldo's had a good season. Benzema's had a better season. So why risk it? Like it, right? Like it's working with Benzema being the experienced figure, and the youth just coming up and being amazing. Vinicius Junior had a scary season this previous one. So
it's good.
I don't see why. I don't know, man. It's a tough one to predict. I could see him end up at Chelsea. Like I know I didn't. I said something something different in the beginning, but as we spoke about it, like it's like if Bayern's not taking him, I don't see PSG making an offer. Like maybe he has to stay in the Premier League, and
That will hurt.
yeah, I,
That
I
will
I
hurt,
bet
mate.
I bet
That will absolutely. If he stays in the Premier League, he shouldn't. He needs. I think Bayern Munich would be the best fit for him, but like a few people have said today, especially Brush, said that Oliver Kahn has ruled it out. I know Lothar Matthäus, who is a part of Bayern Munich, said that he would welcome him with open arms, but each to their own. I guess it depends on. Smash the like, everybody. Subscribe, share, like if you can. There are a good 8 people in the room right now. It's a happy Thursday as well. The sun's shining. It is glorious outside. Yo, Solo and Brush. Big up, Bill. Hey, Bill from Brush. You back on tonight, bro. 250 mil. Bill says Solo 7. Ronnie has to go now. 100%. You think he has to go for Man United, Marley? Or do you think he could stay and see out what their transfer window is going to turn out to be for the rest of the season? Because this summer recently for Man United, it's been very poor. We've only bought one player, Malacia from Feyenoord. It's a good buy, but and Ericsson as well, which is a good buy. Sensible transfer, but there needs to be a statement, doesn't there, for Man United, especially if Ronaldo is going to be moving out, right?
yeah, no, but good business. It's just like nothing impressive and nothing that like moves you enough, right? Like up the pecking order. Like it doesn't look like Man United can be competitive with the squad they have right now. You guys need a lot more adjustments. And dude, I'm sure that if Ronaldo stays, he's gonna behave like he's arguably the most professional player in the history of the game, right? Like he delivers. He wouldn't stop. And it could happen, dude, because like as we said, like there's not a lot of places that Ronaldo can actually go to. There's not a lot of teams that can afford Ronaldo. There's not a lot of teams that want Ronaldo right now, like with the age profile. So I don't know. I know the environment's not great right now because like he missed a couple of training sessions already. He hasn't showed up, but I'm sure he can change that pretty quickly if it doesn't look like he can move. He wouldn't want to hurt like his career, right? Like by becoming someone like totally spoiled that's gonna stop practicing, stop training, like stop playing until he finally gets his move. Like that's not Ronaldo.
It's not, mate. It's not, and I think that's why he's been so cool with the whole thing. He sees the background of Man United. He sees they're not really making any moves in a transfer market. You got him for another year. You got to really back that player and back the manager, and Man United haven't done that so far. I think I would sell him to Chelsea. Makes sense. Why, Bill? Why would you say that? Because you're a Man United fan, right? Why does it make sense to you that we should get rid of him and give him to Chelsea? Because that would really hurt to see him in a blue shirt at Stamford Bridge playing against us. It'd be dreadful. I hate the feeling of even thinking about that happening. Brush says, realistically, I could only see Sporting if he really wanted to move. Probably the only place he'd take a pay cut, which is what I said. Like, it is the sort of club that bring him up, and he's always said about coming back home. Then Sporting Lisbon will sort of say, look, well, why don't you come back home, where you really started off? We are Champions League. We are going for the title in Portugal. You've never won anything in Portugal domestically. This is a good chance. I know you probably would think Benfica. That would probably hurt a lot of Sporting people if he went there. It's only
I don't
across the
think he'd
road.
do that. No.
No, yeah, and Porto maybe would be a good shout, because I know they have this sort of battle between the three, but Porto's a very long way from Lisbon, so it's not quite the same, but it's still bad.
Yeah. If he goes to Portugal, he's gonna go to Sporting.
Yeah, he's got to go Sporting. I'd like to see that. I'd like to see that, just because that's where we got him from. It's like the real reverse cycle of his career, going back to somewhere, and he's going to win something in Portugal if he goes there with Lisbon, isn't he? He's got to.
Yeah. I think he would. I mean, I don't know what Sporting team's looking like now. Like, I don't know if they have other areas that they need to address, but they definitely improved the team by a lot. I can tell you that for sure.
Well, mate, we said, didn't we? They went to the City Ground in the Champions League and they got a 0-0. I know they lost 5-0 in Lisbon against City, but they took the game back and they got a 0-0. They can give teams a game. There's no doubt about it that they are still able to get a decent result in European football. Solo says, needs to go now. No turning back now for Ronaldo. He's definitely a Ronaldo out. Who does Man United get in though, Solo? That's the thing. Anthony, obviously a fellow Brazilian, Marlie. That's looking like that could happen as well. He's asked for a transfer exit. And I do believe they did ask for around 67 million. But him and his agent are having a meeting with Ajax and the board today to try and discuss, to make this not an uncomfortable situation, and the fact that if the player wants to move and you are going to sell him at some point, best to get your cash now and not wait till next year when he might have a bad season and he gets undervaluated, right?
Yeah. I could see you guys going for Dybala for free. Can't you see that happening? That makes sense in my eyes. I don't know why that hasn't been a rumor yet. It's easy journalism to make as well.
There has been a rumor. There has been a rumor.
There you go.
But it seems unrealistic because of the way that Dybala is as a player. I think that's the problem. Do you not think that he's a little bit high profile? Is that the right word? Or, like he's, I don't want to say it, mercenary, maybe a little bit.
Like, I don't feel like we have enough, like just enough to have that conversation. We don't know enough about his career. He went from Palermo to Juventus. That's
yes, but he's been offered for Man United for years, and he's always said, like before, that it's not for me. It's not the move for me. Like, I stay at Juventus. I'm happy. I'm comfortable here. And now he wants to go, but
that does that sound like a mercenary? Like, does Juventus pay a lot better than United do?
With him at the moment, yeah, I think so. Maybe Man United would probably offer him a little bit less. I wouldn't want to give him like any more than what he's probably getting at Juventus. You saw what Ramsey was on, 400,000 a week. How can Dybala be on anything less than 300k?
Okay, yeah, no, that's actually fair.
So I think if it's high wages, and you're losing someone like Ronaldo who's on 400k, who's your best player, who's on the highest wages, it's difficult for Man United in a lot of many ways. How much Bill says, how much could we get for him realistically? I'm hearing 14 million. I don't think it will stretch any more than 17 million. I don't think like you get more than that because his wages are going to be high. Teams know that you're not going to spend 50 million pounds on a player who's 37/38 and give him 400,000 a week, are you? Would you? You probably would, right, Marlie?
No, I'm agreeing with you. Yeah, like I don't think
It'd
that
be
makes sense.
stupid, wouldn't it?
You'd
It'd
what?
be absolutely. It'd be stupid. It'd be a
Yeah,
stupid idea
yeah,
to do.
yeah, yeah.
And I do agree with Brush as well that Sporting, he probably would take a cap. His family would be so happy if he went back to Sporting. Solo says, big up 10 in the chat right now. Smash a like, share, subscribe if you can. We are almost at 800, and it really would mean a lot to us if you could get us over that mark. If not, don't worry. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is all for shits and kicks, if I can say that. Solo, what about in the dressing room behaviour? On the pitch, he would be professional as he's trying to break records.
Yeah, there's that. Like he wasn't like there's rumors that he wasn't always the nicest person in the world in the dressing room. But like I can't speak for what I can't see for like what I haven't seen. Right? Like I know that on the pitch and on the training field, like he's very professional. Like he's someone that doesn't stop. So I just that's what I was saying. I just don't see him like being a spoiled player at United if he stays. I'm
Yeah,
sure he's gonna put in 100% and like he's gonna compete.
he's got to, isn't he? I mean, especially if he wants to. Well, the World Cup's this November as well. This is a really important thing. He wants to be in that. It's probably the last World Cup that he's going to play, right?
Yeah, but dude, Ronaldo doesn't need to play one game, and he's gonna go to the World Cup, Matty.
No, but he wants to be in a team that's playing Champions League. He wants to be in the limelight. He wants to be in contention for the Ballon d'Or, and it all mixes together. He's got to be at a good club. He can't go to bloody Rotherham United, and then it's not going to happen, is it? He's got to go to somewhere where he's going to be playing a lot of football. Champions League is a good night to play. Tuesday, Wednesday. You don't want him playing, like I said, Thursdays with a Man United squad that isn't even there at the moment, and I think that's the reason why he really wants to leave. Bill says because I don't care about Chelsea. I do, Bill. They're they've got some great owners in recently. Someone just bought them for like 3 or 4 billion. Someone can easily buy Man United for 5-6 billion. There's no doubt about that. I just don't understand why the Glazers are still there because they're making money. Of course, I know why they are, but they shouldn't be. Matthew Bassett, evening all. Big up to Matt. Big up everyone on the show and in the chat. Yes, big up yourselves. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. I've absolutely lost my place now. Where are we? Hey Solo, it's all chats in the group here. Bill says he could stop City and Scousers winning titles at Chelsea. It will hurt, but he will have 2 good years while we can catch up to Liverpool and City. But if he wins the Premier League with Chelsea, and then maybe he wins the Champions League with Chelsea, would that not hurt a Man United fan? Now, I know you're not Man United,
The
Marley.
latter is a lot more likely than the former. Like Chelsea are kind of far away from winning a league, mate. But they could win another Champions League, mainly if they have Ronaldo, though.
Agreed. In the meantime, hey Bill, you good? Yo, Matt. He's bigging up Matt in the house. I'm good, Matthew. Everyone's bigging up everyone. All good here. Thanks. Bill Baggio. All good, Matthew. You good? Keep Martial, Rashford, and Sancho front three this coming season. I don't know about
That sounds
Martial, mate.
scary. Yeah.
It does. I mean, does it sound scary?
No, no, no.
Yeah.
Not
Is it Martial?
whatsoever.
Is it Martial and Rashford that make it sound less scary?
Sancho didn't have an impressive season either. I know that he's a great player. Like there's still more to come from Sancho, but as things stand, no, like that doesn't threaten me.
Doesn't me either. All good here, thanks, Bill. Brush says in the short term, this would be a blow, seeing as none of the others are up to par. Martial, Rashi, but I think it would just speed up the rebuild, clear big wages off the books, etc.
Yeah, that makes sense.
BX Gunner 81, big up, mate. How did Dortmund snag Hala?
I mean, you could argue that he didn't do well enough in the big stage, so that's why like big clubs weren't usually linked with him. So I don't feel Dortmund probably didn't have a tough time getting him. That was most definitely the biggest club after a player. And then, like, if I were a player, Dortmund's one of the most exciting clubs, if not the most one. Like with their fan base, coolest fan base in the world. Like it's just I don't know. I'd be crazy to go there.
They bring out good players as well. Like Bellingham's been
Oh
there,
yeah,
Sancho's
dude.
been there. You got Haaland's been there.
Amazing
Aubameyang
club,
was
amazing
there.
culture.
Some decent players come out of Dortmund, and the fact is that Dortmund's 50+1, so it's literally fan involvement, and that really does make a difference. Matthew says, "I'd take a punt on Dybala. He's a free agent, is versatile, and offers us something different in attack." Brush says Dybala already turned us down once. He's 29, would command high wages, which is what I agree, Brush, and has a dodgy injury record. Agree too. Also, a second striker and more of a creator than a finisher, not the guy for goals. Agree with that, Marnie?
I do. But if you're playing players like Sancho and Rashford on the wings, like it could benefit you to have more of a creator in the middle. And Dybala is someone that like if he's playing from a little further away, like he's got some of the best long shots in the world. So uh, I don't know. I I take him at Arsenal. I know that he'd be very expensive. I wouldn't understand it whatsoever, and I'm sure it would hurt us in the future. But I feel like he'd help us this season. I feel like he would do the same to you. But yeah, it doesn't make financial sense to bring in Dybala. No, if you're trying to rebuild the culture, like rebuild the whole system with wages and all of that, like he's detrimental.
He is. I 100% agree with that. Um, Brush says it would be like when we sold Stam and got on Blanc. Dybala, Bellotti would be a short-term fix. Dybala is not all that. He doesn't even nail a spot for Argentina. Bellotti on a free makes more sense. Agree with that. At Matt, this is where the scouting comes into play. There are no standout candidates that we know of, but I'm sure there is a talent out there. City picked up Alvarez for 40 million from River Plate. The scouting that have City and Liverpool done in the last year is amazing because they've got rid of Mane and they've brought in players and now they look
Oh yeah.
as comfortable as they've ever been. And I think that's where Man United are going wrong. Like they need to get in that position where they've got a really good squad and a really good team. And sometimes when players, one or two, are not feeling too comfortable with either the wages or the contract or the position or the part that they have to play in the team, that they can move them on and bring somebody in pretty quickly to replace them. Not only that, bring them in before they leave, which I think is always a very good shout.
Yeah.
We need to stop looking at rep and names and get the scouting right. Speak to the manager and the players that fit his system. Perhaps make one or two unexpected moves. Big up Brush for that. Brush, we had a chance to sign Alvarez in January and decided against it. Hot mess, mate. All December we're linked with him and then City sweep and we do nothing. It's disgraceful, isn't it? Bellotti 2 to 3 years ago was valued at 86 million. Wow. No, because that means City and Liverpool haven't. Okay, I agree with that. Ralph spotted Diaz and Alvarez in January, and we have done nothing. We have done nothing. So there you go. There's a lot of talk about Ronaldo, mate. We've been on here for 34 minutes talking about Ronaldo. We have a couple of more to go through. We're going to make this very quick. We are going to talk about someone who is like that same feeling of a player. Neymar. Big player. And PSG have told him that he can leave if he wants to go. But this is the problem, Marley. This is the biggest problem of this whole thing is the wages. Now, he was about 200 million, wasn't he, from Barcelona to PSG? He was one of the biggest transfer dealings.
I think it was the biggest.
Yeah. So where does he go, mate? Who can afford to take Neymar? And does he want to leave France? Is he done with it?
There's a lot of similarities between the Ronaldo and the Neymar situation. They're not identical, right? Like Neymar wants to stay and PSG wants him gone. With United and Ronaldo, it's the other way around. Neymar's a lot younger than Ronaldo, like almost 10 years. Ronaldo's a lot bigger. Like I'm not comparing the two, right? Like I know what Ronaldo's done. Neymar's not even close to him. But financially, they're the same profile. Like Neymar, probably undeservedly, he's one of those like top five players in the world, right? Like profile wise, he's maybe the most marketable player after Cristiano Ronaldo. I have no idea where he's gonna go. I don't know. Like it's the same thing as Ronaldo. Like the teams that want him and the teams that can afford him. Like you filter that and you get like one or two clubs. I don't see Barcelona spending the money to bring him back. I honestly feel like it would be horrible for Neymar to come to the Premier League. He'd get injured like week in, week out. If he does, though, like perhaps a United, perhaps perhaps a Chelsea. I don't feel like Klopp or Pep would be that stupid to get Neymar. And
After Haaland, no, you couldn't see them
yeah,
two together, could you?
exactly. And he's definitely like same thing as Bayern with Ronaldo. Like it's not the right profile for the club. Definitely don't see him going to Real Madrid. They don't need him right now. Like he'd be a very expensive bench player because Vini Jr. has been like miles ahead of Ronaldo for a good 2 seasons or so. So I don't know. I don't know where Neymar can go. He's not gonna go
MLS.
like already. Like isn't it too soon for Neymar to be doing that?
Well, I think so, but I don't know what the players are thinking and what money's been thrown at them.
And then again, like how much are MLS clubs gonna pay PSG? Because it's not like you have like 70 million transfers to the MLS. That doesn't happen. They pay
Well, no,
good wages, but
but if they're offering him out, then surely they're not going to expect like the biggest amount. I mean, I'm sure they'll expect a decent amount, but I don't think they're expecting 200 million. Maybe
no.
120 million, 130.
Who the F's gonna pay that?
An MLS team will probably.
No, no, they won't. There's probably rules in the MLS impeding that. Like I've never seen. Usually, good players that go to the MLS, they go there as free agents.
Usually because
Like
they don't
90.
want to go, they don't want to go there. But the MLS is changing slightly in that avenue of being able to get players from Europe, and they're trying to bring more players in at a decent age that are good. And it's not like the NFL where they have what you call it. What do they call it, man? What's the name of the thing in the NFL when they get players?
From college?
No, just in the NFL. What do they call it, man? Someone put it in the comments. The draft
Oh,
pick.
draft. Yeah, when they get players from college.
Right.
Draft. Yeah.
Well, yeah, but it's draft pick, isn't it? Yeah, sorry, it's for the NFL. It's from college, maybe, but yeah.
It's all American sports. Yeah, they use the draft system. Yeah.
So maybe a similar thing like that. Maybe they could afford it, mate. But then maybe I don't know. PSG are owned by, I mean, backed by a Qatar ownership as well. Maybe they have an ownership in America that would let them do that. You saw it with Frank Lampard when he moved to City, and then he went to New York
You know
on
what?
loan from City, and then went back and forth. Things like that can happen. Like you can get around these things sometimes.
I just don't see him leaving Europe yet, mate. And when
I
he leaves Europe, I honestly feel like he's gonna go back to Brazil and play for one of the big clubs there, probably Flamengo. But I I don't know. A couple weeks ago, I could throw in a very decent and educated guess that Newcastle was gonna be interested in Neymar. It only makes sense, right? Like it's a flashy new toy for a new era. But
how's he going to go there?
they're scouting really like they're looking really good and smart about the business they're doing. So I don't feel like they throw that much money on Neymar.
Brosh says Neymar would be a typical United signing from a PR and marketing POV, shirt sales, etc., but would be good for the team. I'm not sure.
I'm not either. I'm sure he'd do a couple of like phenomenal things. He'd have one or two games where he'd be unstoppable. He'd get foul, like he'd get three red cards for the opposite for the opposing team because he wouldn't stop dribbling and all of that. But it's 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 a very physical league. Neymar's had injury problems for a couple of years now. Um, I think he'd be very unpopular because of he's gotten better with the whole diving thing, but he does still dive.
Yeah.
And even if he doesn't dive whatsoever nowadays, whenever Neymar falls, dude, the reputation behind him, he'd be booed left and right. I feel like he'd become a rebel in the Premier League way too soon. Like I just feel like it's a bad fit. It's a bad match. I could see it happening because it's probably the only league in the world that can afford him right now because Spain is changing the profile and like the way they're handling things, right? So I yeah, I have no idea, man. It's even tougher than Ronaldo because there's more money involved, right? Like,
It is, yeah. Bill Baggio says Chelsea get Neymar, Ronaldo.
that's
Wow,
crazy.
would be crazy, wouldn't it? Maybe even PSG getting Ronaldo and keeping Messi and Neymar and Mbappe. Have we ever thought about that? Could that happen? Why not?
You go back 3 years and that's unstoppable.
Yeah. But like, why couldn't it? Why wouldn't PSG go, get Ronaldo for 14 million and then have like two of the best in football history probably play in the same team for at least 1 year? I mean, you're talking about Brush said about PR, shirt sales, etc. Could see that being a good option for PSG and definitely boost their chances of winning the Champions League when you have someone like
Same.
Ronaldo in. But would all them three fit together? Or
No,
four, sorry, Mbappe,
no.
Neymar, Messi, Ronaldo in the same team. Could you imagine that, people?
I mean, if you have like no defense in League One, they can play like that. Sure, you can put Neymar as a number 10, but you put no defensive responsibilities for all four of them, and you can probably still win games by 6-3, like game in game out because you're so talented. But Bill Baggio said it himself, like ego explosion. There's so many huge egos, probably the four biggest egos in world football, right there, and or some of the biggest. And
Ego
I
explosion.
don't know. I'm not sure that actually figures into people's minds when making these kinds of decisions. But I try to see it from a standpoint that if you have those four players in attack, you don't win the Champions League. It's so embarrassing, dude. Like how do you not win?
Because they're only building a Galactico team. They're not actually building a team. Like City are different, aren't they? I know that City have got the money as well, but they buy sensible. And
Yeah,
I don't think
I
PSG buy sensible players.
no, me neither. They're terrible. But what I'm saying is, like, I get all you're saying. I agree with it. But is it not embarrassing? Right? Like if you bring in a extraterrestrial, not talk because he actually follows football, but like another alien, you just explain to them who the players are, and then you say like these four players are at PSG. They're like, yeah, they're winning everything, right? Like they've been invincible for 3 seasons. They've won like 98% of their games, right? Like it only makes sense. You have like the
Mm,
two best players in the 21st century, two of the
yeah.
best players in history of the game, right? Like the most promising star in the world in Mbappe and Neymar, who's an almost great. He's always been almost amazing. So there you go. And biggest player for Brazil for a couple of seasons. That's got to be something noteworthy, right? So
How do Brazil
yeah,
sit like Neymar in at the moment?
He's a polarizing figure, but when he plays, like people end up supporting him. It's in our DNA.
Rush says, for somebody so talented, he does look dis- disinterested in football at times and the party life, etc. Nope, keep away. He's close to 30 now, too. I think no resale value either. Well, you say that, but then you see lots of players over 30 still getting those big deals sometimes, especially when they're as good as Neymar, Messi, Ronaldo. But I get what you're saying. I think after 30, like Kane to be example, I don't think anyone will now pay 120 million to get Kane at the age of 30. It'd be he's the best, one of the best strikers in the world, but I just don't see anyone really wanting to pay that much. I think Daniel Levy actually lost out there because he could have sold him for 140, 150 million. And he
That
said, no,
man's gonna retire without a title, man.
he'll have a title, just be
For
top goal
England.
scorer of the World Cup.
For
He got
that,
the
yes.
he got the golden boot. Give him at least that. That will do. Um, Bill Baggio says, I suppose the pitches are softer in England, so Neymar to the Prem makes sense, I suppose.
One way to look at it.
Well, we only done two players, mate. We might literally nearly end it off there. I just wanted to ask you quickly about one more player here, just to finish it
Hmm.
off. We'll go back onto the others as well. We got lots of people to talk about, and we should be back on in the next few days. But we're going to talk quickly about Paqueta on the radar. Now, Marley, he plays for Leon, right?
Yeah, that's a much easier player to move than Ronaldo and Neymar.
Why isn't anybody in the Premier League, or are you going to tell us something about them maybe looking at this player? Because you said as well, I think yesterday to me, that he always makes the international squad, right, for Brazil.
You like first first semester of last season, he was one of the best midfielders in the world, mate, and probably the best performing Brazilian players out there. Brazilian players, sorry. And he's been phenomenal. He didn't do too well at Milan. That's where he went to when he was sold from Flamengo. But ever since he went to Lyon, May, like he's been so impressive. He's so versatile. He can play pretty much like anywhere, like from the eighth position onward. Like he can play on the sides. I like him better like playing through the middle, but still, he can play as a fake nine. He can play number eight. He can play number 10. He can play as a wide winger, a wide playmaker as well. Like he's very versatile. Like he's very deadly as well. He likes scoring goals in big games, and he did suffer a little drop in his football last season. But Lyon did not do too well, right? And the second semester they did lose like another one of the best midfielders in the world, in Bruno Guimarães, that went to Newcastle. So like you're gonna suffer if you're playing right ahead of him. But amazing talent, mate. I've only seen him linked with Newcastle and Arsenal so far. I think there's another big club that's interested as well. Maybe City, even though like I don't know where he fits in that very good midfield that they have. But he's talented, mate. In a couple of years down the road, like I could see him being even better than some of the players they have there. Maybe not De Bruyne, but like the others. Um, he's good. He's good. He's got a very high ceiling as well. He
So,
defends well. He attacks well. Like he's a special player.
like Leon didn't do exceptionally well last season. I guess would it be difficult to for a team to go and get him right now? And why isn't he really on the big club's radar? Like you said, Newcastle might be in for him, but not really anybody else. And this probably would be a sensible transfer for somebody,
I
someone
think,
who is legitly good in their position and consistent as well. That's
yeah.
what you want, isn't it? On what you're buying in the transfer
I
market,
think,
someone who can do the job no matter where they are.
I think PSG's after him. And I think like when you go beyond PSG, you just gotta think about each club like for a second. You'll understand why he's not being linked. Um, Barcelona doesn't have the funds to go get a player for like if they do, they're clearly focused on Rafinha, right? So they're not gonna spend like 50 plus, and I feel like Paqueta's probably a 60 mil player,
Yeah.
and they're probably gonna go for Rafinha. Real Madrid, dude, their midfield. Why the hell would they spend more money on another young midfielder because they already have like the best midfield in the world with Modric, Casemiro, and Kroos, and then they have like Valverde, Camavinga, and Chouameni. So like they're good, they're all set. Bayern doesn't spend that kind of money. City, they might actually be interested, but they're so stacked in there. So are Liverpool. So that's it. That's it. So you're only left with maybe the Italian greats, but then again, Juventus also has a lot of options in midfield, and the other clubs can't really afford to pay like 50, 60, 70 mil. So you're looking at Arsenal, you're looking at Newcastle, maybe United becomes interested at some point, maybe even a Chelsea, who knows? But he's someone that I feel like wherever he goes, within a couple years, he's a full starter that's making the difference because he's a regular starter for Brazil. Like he's a great impact player. Like I'd I'd be so I doubt that it will happen, but I'd be so excited if he joined Arsenal. Like that's the transfer I'd celebrate the most this transfer window for sure. Like we haven't been linked to another name that excites me as much as Paqueta. Gabriel Jesus, good. He makes a lot of sense, but dude, Paqueta's on another level.
Hang on, it's the phone. Ring, 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 ring. Ring, 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 ring. Hello, yeah, it's Marley here. Hello, Edu. Hello, Edu. Is Arteta there at all? Can you get on the yeah, get it on the same line? Hello, guys. Yeah, I got this guy, Paqueta. He's from Leon, Olympic Leon, decent player. Get him. He's a bargain. Bargain buy. Bosh. How can you not do that, Marley? Come on, put the word in. Get him at Arsenal, yeah? Or
I'm
Man
trying.
United. Get him at Man
Yeah, I lack the connections.
United. You're not Fabrizio Romano, but you are Marley Omano, aren't you?
I don't think Fabrizio has the connections to pull that move either. But yeah, I wish I had some sort of influence, mate. Play some FIFA with the club. Yeah, that sounds like fun. It's probably a lot more stressful than we think.
He says Hosem Aor.
Yeah, that's past it. It's
Why
I'm
is
he's another one of those players that's gonna like he's gonna regret a lot not moving at the right time. You know, Leon has a lot of those players. Fekir, perhaps you could say that Lacazette went through that as well. Like Arsenal wasn't like the top tier of clubs that he could have gone to, and Awar is another one of those. There's more important players at Leon. Like he's not a superstar in there anymore. I don't feel like he brings enough to help a big club move forward. Unless you're talking about a legit like squad player, because
Hmm.
Awar is not that young anymore, is he? Awar is what, like 24, 25? Like it's not like he
Well, it's
has.
decent age, isn't it?
Yes, but he's been playing in France for a long time now. Paqueta is actually probably to the same age profile as Awar, but he started in Flamengo, right? Like he didn't leave Brazil until he was like 21 or so. Spent a year in Milan that didn't work out, and then he got his career moving. So you could say that he still has like more to grow than Awar does. Yeah, I just don't see Awar actually going to anywhere significant.
It was a good shout, Matthew, mate. Good shout because we wanted to talk about that as well, and it's good for you guys in the comments to bring this in. I've seen vague links to Ben Yedder from AS Monaco.
To
Where to, Matt?
United?
Where's the links been to? I've heard a few things. I've always heard Newcastle as well. We're going to hear Newcastle from everything. I think I even heard Newcastle wanted to buy Maradona, but he's been dead for about 2 years. So that's not going to happen either. Do you think Ben Yedder's? I mean, he's a decent player. He's underrated.
He is hugely underrated. He's just not someone that attracts a lot of eyes, right? And he's never, I don't think he's ever played for a big club, like big club, you know. But I'm sure he's someone that could have a couple of good seasons
Mm.
for United or like wherever he goes. he's just not that kind of player that you expect like 30 goals in the league, right? Like he's that good striker.
Yeah.
You
Well, he
know,
is.
maybe you guys will like, because when the links started popping up, like you guys still had Ronaldo. There was even like still conversations of Cavani staying. Now like Cavani's definitely gone, and Ronaldo seems to be on his way out. So maybe United might step up the interest in Evanilson because Porto's for sale. Like there's a clearance at Porto, right? Like you can get their players eventually. They're selling everyone. They sold someone, I think Vitinha, somewhere as well. Like they've been selling a lot of players. They sold Fabio Vieira to Arsenal.
But there'll be a
I think
limit,
it,
won't there? There'll
yeah,
be.
sure. But Ivan Nilsson's a good young player. I think he'd be a little more expensive because he hasn't been there for too long. But good
I
striker.
the Ajax have sold a lot of players already, and you got Anthony saying he wants to go. You got Martinez saying he wants out as well. I mean, that's a rebuild for Ajax. So if Porto do the same thing, it's going to be the same thing for them. They don't really want to rebuild a team halfway through the transfer window. You kind of want to know and get all your eggs or ducks or whatever you say in a line in a row. And
Yeah.
I don't think that. I think it'll be a high price halfway through.
Yeah, no. They're eventually gonna start charging more money. Yeah. Because they
Two
do
hundred
have.
million plus a Mars bar or something ridiculous.
You know, when I first saw it, it was like rumors of like 70 mil for even. That's like I don't see that happening, but maybe 40, something like that. He's a good player, mate. He's got like a very good like game to goal ratio, very solid one, and he's also quite versatile. He can play on the wings, he can play up front,
There we go. All done.
and he comes from the best academy in the world. It's always a good indication that he's going to become a good player.
Fluminense over here. Look, put him on solo.
There's not going to be an episode where I'm not like making sure Fluminense is known there.
I know we've talked a lot about Fluminense, haven't we?
Yeah, we do.
Well, everybody, we are at the end of the show. Thank you so much for tuning in. I know we got a lot of viewers today. It's great.
Yeah,
We've only
that was
talked
amazing,
about
guys. Thank you.
really good. And we are one away from 800. So
So close.
back to
So
one
close.
away. But look, honestly, don't care if you stay on 799. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in, liking us, and subscribing. Yes, we're not always about, but we have our own things going on. We are fans. We are doing this as a hobby. And if it goes really big, great. If it doesn't, great. We're still going to be doing it. That's what matters, isn't it, Marley?
Absolutely.
We enjoy doing this, mate. So thank you, everybody in the chat. Smash like, share, subscribe if you can. And Marley, let everyone know where they can find you apart from your home, bro. Apart from your home.
Yeah, well, apart from here, you find me now and then, like across a couple of other channels, mainly as Fitly TV, my good friend Steven's channel. And well, if you want to follow me on Twitter and Instagram, you have both of them here, my Twitter, then my Instagram.
Cheers, Marley. And you can follow Football United TV on Twitter, Instagram, and here on YouTube as well. Make sure you do that. And we should be back at some point this weekend. I'm going to try and get on at some point in the morning on Saturday morning or Sunday morning. Just give you some transfer updates if I can. I'm always listening out, but busy life, mate. I've had a stag do I went to this weekend. I got weddings coming up. I got 2 weddings in like 3 days in 2 different countries. So, and I'm an usher at one and a best man at the other. It's very difficult for me to keep my mind occupied on football as well. But thank you everybody for tuning in. We are signing out now, Marley and everybody. So thank you everybody for tuning in. Go back if you can. Bill Baggio, Matthew as well. Everybody in the chat. We got Brush as well. Solo was there too. BX Gunner. Who else?
25 seconds, Maddie.
Luca,
20 seconds.
But 40 seconds. I'm going to finish it off now because I always say under the hour mark, and I am going to get there, Marley, if I can. Oh, no, I can't. I can. Yes, I can. No, I can't.
Go.
I can. Thank you, everybody.
Ciao.
Next time. Until then, bye-bye. Take care.
Bye.